Good evening, everyone. I am Danny Nicole, and I'm your host of Book Talk, Author Visibility Podcast. And tonight's guest will be Sheena Jackson. She is an author, and she will share with us where she's from, a little bit about herself, and the book she will talk about today.
Hi, I'm Sheena Jackson. I am calling in from Charleston, South Carolina, the friendly sunshine state. Wanted to briefly talk about my new published book. It came out in November of 2025. It's called Imperfectly Flawed, My Journey to Faith. And this book actually follows my journey with getting to know myself, getting to know God, restoring my faith. I went through a kind of a rough patch over the last year, starting from when I was a little girl, about how I felt about my Black complexion, being bullied in school, up until adulthood when I lost my grandmother, who I wasn't very close to, but her death kind of sent a lot of things in my life kind of spiraling out of control, where I started to turn to sleeping pills and alcohol to cope with the death, up until I've been in two comas and have had over 100 seizures. And even up until last year when I lost my mother, and how I had to navigate that and her being on hospice. And
Okay.
ultimately, the suicide attempt, and which led me to voluntarily checking myself into a mental health facility.
Okay. And thank you for sharing. I'm sorry about for your loss. I
Thank you.
I really appreciate you sharing. So, what inspired you then to write this book?
So back in 2018, after my grandmother died, I went through kind of like this rough time where I was like trying to understand life. Like I've said before, I didn't have the best relationship with her. And I felt like when prior to her death is when I really got the opportunity for her to love me and for me to love on her. So right after that, when I started going to a downward spiral, it kind of came to me that I should write a book about my life stories. And over the last couple of years, I've been trying to write it and I've deleted it 3 times. But it's always like a voice. It's like a voice of God keep telling me that it was bigger than me. It wasn't about me, but it was more about inspiring and helping someone else. And it just so happened that a lot of other things after my grandmother's death is what kind of led to the continuation and the continuation and the continuation of the book.
Okay, thank you. So, what message do you hope readers take away from the book?
The message that I want readers to take away is to continue to be inspired, to never give up on your faith, to never give up on God. For example, when my mom was on hospice and it was one of the most rough times of my life. And I got to the point where I wanted to give up again. And I felt like God was just punishing me. And I had the worst opportunity to see my mom go through the process of dying. And I wanted to inspire others to just keep hope, to keep your faith, to keep persevering, even when people in life tell you that you can't do it, you can't make it, but to never give up on God. Always believe in yourself and believe that you can achieve more and that you can do more.
Thank you. I like that. So, this book, was it self published or did you do traditional publishing?
It's self-published through Amazon.
Okay. It was released last year in November.
Yes, it was released in November. The paper copy and the ebook actually was just released last week.
Okay. All right. And so, what has your journey as an author taught you?
The journey of an author, it taught me a lot. I reflected a lot. It's really been more about learning about myself, or knowing that God has so much more for me in stored, and that honestly, this is really just the beginning. I feel like I'm just getting started. So I'm really starting to learn more about myself even more. It taught me to embrace the people that love and care for me. And I didn't feel that until my book came out.
Okay. And so, who would you say is the ideal reader for this book?
I think normally people would say Christian readers because it's more of a faith-based book. But I guess for me, I think it's for everyone. I do look at those that are struggling with the faith. It is, I guess my target audience is those that are Christians or that is on their spiritual journey and still trying to learn their faith and still trying to understand themselves, trying to understand God and trying to understand where their spiritual path or their spiritual journey is leading them.
Yes, I agree with that. Believe that this walk with God is something we learn daily, and like you were saying, our faith. And I know even me that sometimes it wavers, and sometimes it
Mhm.
seems like it's at its highest point, and then sometimes it seems like it's at its lowest.
Absolutely.
So I agree with that. That's great. Thank you for sharing. So, were there any challenges you faced while writing the book? I know you had said you spoke about your childhood and things in your life. Was that a challenge to tap into that and write about that?
Writing about the childhood wasn't actually a challenge because I had an amazing childhood. And the book actually spoke about not it is not only being my parents that raised me, but the community that I lived in that embraced all of us. Like my big, the saying that old folks say, it takes a village to raise a child. And for me, it was actually true. And I actually spoke about that a lot in the book. I think in the first two chapters.
So, what impact do you hope this book will have on readers?
But oh, my impact is for people to grow closer to God. The additional thing about, having an impact is for people to know the truth and know that the title of the book is Imperfectly Flawed. My journey to faith is never complete. And like you said, it does kind of waver. I have my highs and I have my lows, and I have my days where I'm like fighting to keep the faith and fighting to stay strong. And so those things are always going to be a challenge because as we all go through trials and tribulations, our faith is gonna waver. But the I think the impact that it's gonna have to that when you just realize that God is always gonna be walking with you. He's always gonna stand next to you, beside you, in front of you. He's always gonna go before you. So if you keep your faith, then the impossible is always possible with him.
Absolutely. So, what was the most rewarding part of writing this
The
book?
most rewarding part of writing the book has actually been sharing the story because a lot of people that know me know that I am a bit reserved, a lot reserved, actually, not a bit, but a lot reserved. And a lot of people did not know who I really was. Even those that were close to me, through me writing the book, they actually get to know and understand a lot of the things that I went through. And a lot of them did not know that I went through the things that I did.
And so this is your first book. Are there plans to continue to write and publish more books in the future, or are you starting on something right now?
Well, actually, when I first wrote the book, I had no intentions on writing a second book. But actually, when it published, and I started getting a lot of the reviews back and the responses, everyone was waiting for book number two. And I even told my editor, I said, she was like, "Are you going to do a series?" And I said, "No." And so now I've actually started on the second book.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. So can you tell us the title or no?
So I've been kind of dabbling with a lot of different titles, but one that sticks out with me the most is called Hard Lessons. And this
Okay.
is kind of like a part two. So this was, this current book is like me going through the journey. So the second book is me learning the lessons of the things that I went through.
Okay. Sounds good. And are there any other events, future events that you are a part of that you want to share or you haven't gotten there yet?
I had a book signing last month, which actually turned out to be actually amazing. I wasn't expecting a lot of people. I was able to partner with the local library. And so they actually helped market the event. So I had some people that never met me before, and I've actually made new friends now through that event. And I also have one coming up May 30th. That's going to be in Bluffton, South Carolina. That's the tentative date for the second book signing there at the Heritage Center. And
Okay.
also at the end of this month, I was asked to participate in a career day at my former high school. So I will be presenting my book as a part of my career journey because right now it is turning into a career, something that I love because I've always loved to journal and do creative writing. So, I would actually want the students to know that the possibilities are endless and you don't have to just have a regular 9 to 5 job, but you can have a 9 to 5 and a career and still write a book.
Absolutely. I like the sound of that. Thank you for sharing. So, where can listeners connect and support your work?
So right now the only platform that I have is Amazon, where the ebook and the paperback. I am working on getting a website uploaded and kind of working on some other things, trying to figure out how to branch off a little bit and market the book to get it more out there to readers. Is That's kind of taken a little process because I am taking care of my father who's ill. So it's a work in progress. So
I can definitely understand. It's a continued work in progress for sure. That's great. Like you said, this journey right now is moving you forward, getting you out there, getting visible, and that's what it's all about. Is because you're a brand, and as an author, you want to continue to build visibility. So I appreciate you coming on to the book talk with me this evening. It's really been a pleasure getting to know you and getting to know about your book and what's to come.
I appreciate you having me. It's really such a pleasure. This is the first one, so I know there's many more to come.
Yes, yes, that's the first of many. So, to the listeners, like, share, follow, and comment on the podcast. And we are definitely looking for bigger and better things to come for Miss Sheena Jackson, the author. So, Sheena, again, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You as well. Bye bye.